Okay. Hello, champions. Uh, Hope you guys are doing amazing. Happy Sunday. I am back from the US. Hello, Miguel. Nice to see your face, my friend. Hello, Tapiwa. How are you, my dear? Let's see who else is going to join us.
Hey, Efrosini, how
Helen.
are you doing? How was the US?
The US was interesting. No, the US was really good. I went over for a conference, and there was about 15,000 of us at this conference with some amazing speakers, great content, very cold. It dropped down to -8 degrees at some point while I was there.
Wow.
So definitely wasn't used to that. But it's good to be back home. How are you guys doing? I missed you guys.
We missed you too.
Who else?
Welcome back.
Sandy. Congratulations, my dear Sandy. New gold in the house. Amazing. I know we have a few new ranks as well. We have a new sapphire. Was it 4 new golds, Helen,
Yes,
including Sandy? It's
yes.
February was definitely a fabulous month from a Viago perspective. That's for sure. So we're gonna rock and roll today. Today, guys, we're gonna be talking about following up. It's something that a few of you guys reached out to me and asked me, can you do a talk on following up? Because, some people don't join on the spot. We know this. So what do you say when they haven't joined on the spot in order to follow up with them in a professional manner? So I'm definitely going to be talking about that today. Before I do, a couple of quick announcements just to make sure you guys are aware. The Benjamin promo continues until the end of the pay week. Okay, so the end of the pay week is Monday at midnight
Monday.
Phoenix time, which is 10 a.m. on Tuesday morning. So that means you've got another window of opportunity to maximize on the Benjamin bonus. I want to say congratulations to all of you guys that have pushed for the Benjamin bonus and you qualified. Amazing. I think we've had something like 160 people qualify for the Benjamin bonus
Wow.
in the team. That is amazing. Okay. So leverage it, make the most of it until Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. Zimbabwe time, which is midnight Phoenix time on Monday night. That's for the Benjamin bonus. Okay. I'm not sure if it's going to get extended. I don't think it's going to get extended into March. I know there are some surprises for the month of March, but on the Tuesday night all ambassador call that we will have with our CEO, Eddie Head, he's going to go through some of the announcements and some exciting promotions for the month of March. So on that note, happy spring. Okay, today is the 1st of March, marks new beginnings. One thing that I've seen historically, guys, is that when you start the year strong, March, April, May are very, very big months in network marketing, okay? Particularly in travel network marketing. Because sometimes people come out of Christmas and they start the new year and they've spent a lot of their budget over Christmas and New Year's, and January is recuperation month for a lot of people. February is that in-between month, but comes March, the weather starts getting better and people start thinking about holidays. Also, spring marks new beginnings. So one thing that we find is that March, April, May are very, very big months for network marketing. And also September, October, November. Having said that, here's one thing that I've always noticed, okay? And I'm saying this to you. Every month can be your best month if you treat it that way. Okay? Every month can be your best month if you treat it that way. I remember historically some people would say, oh, August I'll go on holidays for the whole month because business is quiet. And then I've had in August many big ranks that have been achieved. Why? For a handful of people that made a decision to rank up during the month of August. It doesn't matter what month it is, it matters your mindset coming into the month. But there's always something really nice and fresh about starting a new month. You know, even if you had an amazing February, there's always something powerful to say, hey, you know what? Today is the first of the month, and I have a new opportunity in order to create an amazing story for the month of March. Whatever that story may be. Maybe for the month of March, you're brand new and you just want to focus on getting your 6. Maybe you want to focus on hitting a new rank. Maybe it's bronze, maybe it's silver, maybe it's gold. Maybe you're someone like Priscilla who decided that one rank is not enough in a month, and she decided to get her 6, get bronze, get silver, and get gold in 1 month. Where is Priscilla? I mean, that is a story and a half. And those are the kind of stories that I love, because sometimes you get these stories that make everybody else realize that anything is possible when you put your mind to it. You know, some people think it's only possible to achieve 1 rank in a month, and some people say I can achieve 4 ranks in a month. Okay? So we're going to get straight into following up. So I hope you guys got a piece of paper and a pen. Now, I want to thank you guys that have your video on. I appreciate it. I encourage all of you guys to turn your videos on, guys. Not for me, okay, but for you. Because sometimes when you have your video on, it forces you to be 100% present. And we do live in a microwave society these days where we have so many different distractions from everywhere. So when you got your video on, I'm here with you, you're here with me, we'll rock and roll, okay? So make sure you got a piece of paper and a pen. So here's one thing with regards to following up. Now, write this statistic down. The majority of the people sign up on their 12th exposure. The majority of the people, they join after the 12th exposure. I'm going to explain what exposures mean, by the way. It doesn't mean they have to watch the presentation 12 times, because sometimes this statistic is misunderstood, okay? Someone sent me their focus board, because we're in the middle of a blitz right now, and they sent me their focus board, and I remember that they did a lot of presentations, and she said, I've only enrolled 1 person, but I know the rest are coming, and this is the right attitude. Because every presentation that you do, it's a seed in the ground. Every presentation that you do, it's a seed in the ground. What does that mean? It means that sometimes you put a seed in the ground and that seed is not ready to sprout yet. But what most people think is they do a presentation, and if people don't join straight away, they take it as a personal rejection. And this is the thing that I want to highlight to you, is that it's never a no, it's a not yet. Every single person has the timing. But the other thing is as well, is that you also need to bear in mind that sometimes there's other things that are holding people back from joining. And our job is to find out what's holding them back from joining. Now, here's a few things to understand, you know, when people don't join. There's a number of reasons. Sometimes they don't join because they might be overwhelmed with information. And here's one thing that I want to help you guys with in this, is that less is more, okay? Less is more. Sometimes when you do the presentation, and the more that you've been around the business, and the more you understand and more information you have, the more you think that the person opposite you needs to have all the knowledge you have about Viago. They don't. Let me ask you something. Just put this in the chat, okay? How many of you, when you watched the presentation of Viago for the first time, you understood everything? Write it in the chat. I understood everything. I didn't understand anything. I understood a little bit. What was it for you? I'm very curious. Tapioca, of course. I know. Zero. Nisa, zero. Nope. I hope you, these very highly analytical personalities that are on this Zoom right now, you're really paying attention to what people are writing on the chat. Yeah, just a little, right? A little bit. Some people are like, I understood nothing. Think about that. I understood nothing, but I still joined. What does that tell you? Okay? Winditch, I joined after 1 year. Interesting. Okay? A little bit. I understood travel because I was planning on it. Guys, people don't need to understand everything. The one thing that people need to understand, does this have more value for me than what it cost me? That's it. If I spend this amount, do I get this? Do I get a little bit more value than what I'm spending? If I feel the value is more than I'm spending, I'm justifying spending the money. If I don't feel I'm getting more value, and I feel like I'm spending more than what it's worth, I cannot justify the money. Okay, that's something that to bear that in mind, and I'm going to go a little bit more in depth here. But the main thing is, and this is why I say in my presentations, I'm going to give you enough information to make a decision. Okay? I don't say I'm going to give you all the information. I'm going to give you enough information to make a decision. Okay? So, sometimes when I get to the end of the presentation and they feel so overwhelmed with information, they go into what we call freeze mode. Okay? And freeze mode is too much information. I don't have the ability to make a decision. So what do they tell you? I want to think about it. Okay? So when people say to you things like, for example, I want to think about it, I ask them straight out, great, I totally get it. Whatever objection they give me, by the way, I always agree with them. Okay, it doesn't matter what the objection is. What particular part of the presentation would you like to understand more? What particular part of the presentation, okay, would you like to understand more? You know, it's like when you're thinking about it, I don't assume they want to think about making a decision. I want to assume that there's something they didn't understand. Okay? I'll tell you why. Because I expect everybody to say yes. It doesn't mean everybody's going to say yes. But I expect everybody to say yes because I expect everybody to understand that, firstly, Viago is about one thing: choices. That's what Viago is all about. It's the choice to have more. Whatever more it represents, whether that more means more travel, more money, more freedom, more friends. You guys with me? It's the choice to have more. That's all it is. What more in your life would you like to have? I'm giving you the vehicle to have more. So the thing is that if, let's say, for example, they feel that it's too much information, I just go, great, you know, what was the part that excited you the most? Now, I'm doing overcoming objections, and I'm going to do follow-up as well because these two things come together, okay? What part of the information excited you more? What part of the presentation you liked the most? These are questions that focus on the positive part of the presentation, okay? Now, Tafadzwa, okay? When people say they suspect it's a Ponzi scheme, clearly they don't know what a Ponzi scheme is. It is that simple. That's an education objection. And I'm going to address that in a minute. Don't worry. Okay. So the thing is, going back into terms why people don't join. A, they give you an objection, whatever that objection may be. Maybe it's I want to think about it, and there's ways that you're going to combat this as well. Because the think about it as well is essentially what the think about it is. It's almost a mask for something else that is holding them back from joining. So you need to identify, is there something holding them back from joining that they're not telling you? Or is it their polite way of saying no? So when people say, I want to think about it, I tell them, look, here's one thing that I learned from my mentor. My mentor always says to me that I want to think about it is usually either A, your polite way of saying no. And if it is, I just want to let you know, it's totally cool with me. If this is not your time yet, that's cool with me. If this is not your time yet, by saying this, by the way, what am I telling them? I'm telling them that if it's not your time yet, sooner or later it's going to be your time. That's what I'm telling them with that, okay? I'm planting the seed that sooner or later you're going to say yes. That's the seed that I'm planting, okay? But I'm also giving them an opportunity not to join. I'm giving them an opportunity not to say no, basically. Some people have a fear of rejection, and at the same time when they have a fear of rejection, they also feel uncomfortable rejecting someone else. I prefer someone tells me no rather than tells me I want to think about it. Okay? Because a no and a yes I can work with. A no means I'm moving on to the next one. I'm going to follow up with you. If it's a no, I'm going to follow up with you in 30 days, 90 days, whatever. I'm going to come back to that when I do a follow up. If it's a yes, we rock and roll. But the think about it is you're leaving me in limbo. How long do you need to think about it? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 24 hours? Okay? Do you see what I mean? Here's what I tell them. If you really need to think about it and it's not your polite way of saying no, how long do you need to make a decision? And then they might tell you, I might need 24 hours. If they tell you, give me a week, there's an obstacle there in the way. And that's the part where I ask them, what's holding you back from getting started? Because here's the thing, right? Let's say I'm speaking to Sandy. I go, Sandy, here's the thing. I want to know what's holding you back from getting started. Because I want to think about it's one or two things. Either it's your polite way of saying no, and you told me that's not it, or there's something else holding you back. If you do this, you and me are going to be partners, okay? And my job is to lock arms with you and help you win. So I want you to feel 100% comfortable to speak to me about anything that's on your mind, because when I know what's holding you back, I also know how I can help you overcome it, because you and me are partners. Okay? So then Sandy might tell me, look, it's the money. Let's say she doesn't have the money to get started. Or maybe she's concerned about how much time it's going to take. Or maybe she needs to speak to her husband. Whatever that objection may be, we can overcome that objection if we know it. But if we don't know it, then we don't know how to overcome it. Now, if let's say she tells me it's the money or the time, okay, we've covered objections before, but I want to just basically use my simplest way of overcoming objections. Number one, I agree with them and I empathize with them. Agree and empathize. I totally get it, Sandy. A lot of people that come across this, they might not have a few €100 lying around waiting to change their life. It doesn't mean that you don't want to, but maybe you just don't have that disposable income right now. Money aside, putting the obstacle on the side, if you had the money, would you do this? This is my way of identifying, is money the objection, or is it also a way for her to say no? Okay? Money aside, if you had the money, would you do this? And she'll tell me yes. She'll either tell me no, I also don't think I have the time, and then I realize it's her polite way of saying no, and I take it away from her. If she's giving me multiple objections, guys, I'm just going to say, Sandy, sounds like this is not the right time for you. That's totally cool. Why don't we stay in touch? Okay? Guys, I don't want to work with wishy-washy people. there's nothing worse than working with people that are 1 minute they're hot, 1 minute they're cold. Okay? Everybody's going to have some apprehension sometimes. Nobody's going to walk into this business and be rock solid 100% all in from day one. That's something that's going to come as they develop their belief. Okay? But if I can tell someone's like, oh, I don't have the time and I need to speak to my husband, and by the way, I also don't have the money. I'm like, okay, I get it. It's not the right time for you. So I kind of take it away from her. Now, sometimes when you take it away from people, people go, no, but I really want to do this. At that part, this is the part where now the roles flip. Instead of me asking them why, to join, here's what I'm going to ask them. So you want to do this? Yeah, I do. Tell me why you want to do this. Tell me why you want to do this. What do you want to achieve with this? This is their job to now sell me why they want to be part of Viago. Do you see the difference? Okay? They go, because I want to change my life. How do you want to change your life? Well, I want to make more money. I haven't taken my family for a holiday for a really long time. We've never been outside of Africa. Amazing. What else? The more reasons you have of why they want to join, the more leverage you have to close them. So let's say they give me 3-4 reasons. I want to make more money. I want to travel with my family. I've never been outside of Africa. I'm sick and tired of working the hours that I want to work. And I want to be able to give a legacy to my kids. Great. So you're telling me with all those things, are you serious about all those things and achieving those things? Yes, I am. Great. You're going to let a couple of €100 stand in the way of creating a legacy for your kids? Do you guys see that? Okay. The thing is, the more reasons you have why they want to join, the more leverage you have to close them. They need to see the connection between the things they can achieve with the opportunity to help them to deliver that. Okay? So that's in overcoming objections. Now, sometimes people are going to give you these objections and you're going to need to follow up with them because maybe they need a few days in order to get started, or maybe genuinely they need a few days to make a decision. Sometimes you have personality types that struggle with making a decision on the spot. Okay? So, write this down. BAM, FAM. BAM, FAM. Book a meeting from a meeting. Book a meeting from a meeting. Always, whenever you leave the communication, you should always have the next step identified, whatever that may be. So it can be either the next step, let's say if they enrolled, the next time that you speak to them, so you can do a fast start. Let's say they haven't enrolled, it's the next time you're going to speak to them in order to make a decision, whatever that decision may be. When I do that, by the way, when I show people the presentation, guys, a lot of people make the mistake, and I want to draw your attention to this, because a lot of people make the mistake that they send the video or they send the Zoom and they try to do all the follow-ups through text. I know that we live in a text society, but I'm a firm believer that if you really want to influence people, you got to pick up the phone. You got to pick up the phone and have a conversation with people, because, sending a text is not enough. Okay? You can't influence someone over a text. The things that I've said to you is not just the things that I've said to you, by the way. The tonality is the key. Right? See, the mindset that a person reads a text also transfers their energy to the text. The mindset that someone is in when they read a text also transfers the energy to the text. That means if they're angry when they receive a text, they read your text angry. Have you ever received a text from someone and you realize you completely misunderstood them, because maybe you were in a bad mood when you received the text and you read the text and got even more angry. Okay, I know I've done that. I received the text literally 3 days ago, and I was in such a bad mood when I received the text because of whatever reason. And I read this particular text. I got really, really, really angry, and I said, I'm not going to deal with it. Here's a tip, by the way, leadership tip number 1. Okay, never reply in an emotional state. Okay, words, once you give them, you can't take them back. Words have power. So whenever I'm in a highly emotional state, whatever I do, I try my best. I'm not going to tell you I'm perfect, by the way, guys. Believe me. There's many times I have responded too quickly and answered too quickly in an angry state and regretted it afterwards. But I remember receiving this text and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this person has done this. Boom. And I put the phone down and I went for make a coffee, calm my nerves down, came back. And once I was calm and I read the text, I read it completely different. There's certain words in the text that I completely missed the first time that made me angry. And when I read the text in a peaceful manner, I realized that none of the things that I thought it said did it say in the text. Imagine if I had replied in the angry state and something escalated from bad to worse, and it was 100% my fault because I was just angry reading it. Okay, so when you're talking to people about changing their life, do you really want to do it over a text? Because that's what we're doing. We're not showing a presentation and that's it. We're taking people on a journey in order to change their life. So these conversations are better to, hey, stop it. Talking about angry, and one of my cats is getting angry and chasing the other one. See, even the cats feel your emotions. It's amazing, right? So in terms of following up as well, so if, let's say, the presentation finished, you have a conversation with them, you overcome the objections and you realize you need to schedule in time to follow up, okay? And let's say you speak to them and you realize that it's a not yet decision, okay? Here's one question that I ask them. Hey, this journey is really important to me because, as I shared with you, and I go back into my 3-step setup of what I shared with my goals. As I shared with you, this is my way in order to get my time back and change my life. So for my accountability purposes as well, is it okay if I keep you updated on my journey? Is it okay if I keep you updated on my journey? I'm asking that because it's different to say, hey, can I follow up with you in 30 days and see if you're ready to join? That puts pressure. But if I tell them, is it okay if I keep you updated on my journey? 9 out of 10 times people say, yeah, of course. Now, it does 2 things. One, it shows them that I'm serious. And this is one thing to bear in mind. One of the reasons that also people don't join, and they're never going to tell you this is a subconscious thing, is that they may not take the person that showed them seriously, that they're actually going to be serious about this, basically. They're seeing if you're serious about what you're building. Because let's face it, how many of us have ever come across people that one day they're telling us that they're changing their life, and the next day they've already quit? How many of you have friends like that? Let me tell you a quick story of Raymond. I probably should protect his identity, but anyway. Raymond was a guy that we invited to a presentation. This man really stuck in my mind. In, I want to say 2014, we invited him to a presentation to then show him our previous company. And he was working at, this virtual office that I had as a mailman, as a guy that basically was behind the desk sorting out envelopes. We showed him the presentation. He said, this is amazing. I want to change my life. I've been looking for a way to create freedom. And I said, great, are you ready to get started? And he said, well, look, I'm not ready to get started because right now I'm learning how to trade and I'm going to become a millionaire from trading. I said, okay, no problem. I said, do you have a good mentor? He goes, yeah, I have a great mentor. I said, okay, cool. Listen, do you mind if we keep each other, keep in touch with each other? I said, I'd love to keep you updated on my journey, and I want to hear about your journey as well. Now, a few months passed. Raymond, how's everything going? Now, tip follow-up. Whenever I call people, I always make sure that I have something fresh to share with them. Okay? Whether it's a fresh announcement about the enhancement of something that the company added, whether it's a fresh achievement that I've done, or better yet, my favorite thing to share is fresh achievements of people in my organization. One thing I get excited about is how the lives are being impacted within our organization. So I may call him, and let's say, for example, back then it was different stories. I may call him and just go, man, Raymond, the last few months have been crazy. We literally just go back, from this trip. We're getting ready to go to this next trip. For example, in this case, we're getting ready to go to Portugal in a couple of months. Things are growing. Just last month, we had 4 people in our organization achieve the rank of gold, which is $500 a month residual income. It's so amazing. In fact, we got one guy, Enoch, who's just achieved the rank of sapphire, which is $1,000 a month, every single month. Amazing achievement. But anyway, how's things with you? Okay. Now, every time I called Raymond, I had something fresh to share with him. And Raymond's response was like, yeah, not bad. About how his journey was. At some point, Raymond stopped responding to my voice calls. And that's what's going to happen as well, by the way. Either they join you or they ghost you. Which, for me, either way is cool. Because if you've joined me, we win. If you haven't joined me, I move on to the next one. Okay? It's been 12 years since Raymond saw a presentation. Every time I go to London and I go to my virtual office, Raymond is still behind that little office, still sorting out envelopes. 12 years later. In the meantime, in those 12 years, we've moved continents. We've lived in 4 different countries. I don't even know how many trips we've taken in that time. I don't know how many lives have been impacted in those 12 years since then. Okay? And not only that, I've been able to rebuild life twice. Why am I saying this to you? Because that's multiple times that Raymond, if he had seized the opportunity, he could have changed his life multiple times. Now, am I sad for Raymond? Absolutely. I actually feel bad every time I see him there because this guy always has the biggest smile on his face. He's got really nice energy. Just didn't have the discipline to stick with it. He did trading for a little bit, he told me, because I asked him a couple of times. And then it wasn't working for him. Yeah, that's right. Trading doesn't work for someone. Whatever you do, it never works for you guys. You make it work for you. Okay? Things just don't just magically work and you press a button and all of a sudden you made money. No, whatever it is you got to do, you got to apply yourself. You got to discipline yourself. And then he tried something else. That didn't work for him either. Raymond has a lot of bad luck apparently. And, he just realized that, I just got to keep doing what I'm doing. And the dream stays in the back of his mind. There's millions of people like Raymond out there. Every time I followed up with him, the reason I had something fresh to share, and this is important for you guys to understand why we follow up with people. We follow up with people because we want to show them how things are changing. We want to show them 2 things. Number 1, this is working with or without you. And number 2, I am building this with or without you. okay? Because a lot of people sometimes, and I've had this happen so many times over the years, that I had people that I kept in touch with and they joined me a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later. Because every time I called them, I'd have a new story, a new adventure I'd been on, and another adventure I was going on. And, you know, the way that I would follow up sometimes it'd be like, you know, just got back from Dubai. Now we're getting ready to go to Portugal. Do you want to come with us? Okay. Do you want to come to Portugal with us? Hey, we've got an event in Johannesburg. Do you want to come to Johannesburg with us? You know, because the thing is, I'm not pushy, by the way, guys, right? I don't sit there and tell people you should do this. Feel the energy of the words, you should do this. Who likes being told what they should do? I don't know about you. When someone tells me what I should do, I want to do the opposite. That's my personality type. Okay? So don't tell me what I should do. In fact, one of my New Year resolutions for 2026 was I want to get rid of the word should from my vocabulary. I hate the word should, okay? Because it carries a heavy burden for me. Okay? Listen to the different energy of, listen, I am so glad I joined. We're off to Portugal in a couple of months. You want to join us? Do you see how that's a much light-hearted communication as opposed to, you should do this with me? Is this making sense, guys?
Bomba.
Yes.
Bomba, I love it. So, so the other thing is as well, is every single time as well that the other thing that I've done is, if let's say for example I'm on what we call a blitz mode. A blitz mode means I'm doing a lot of activity within a short period of time. Then I've also, if they've seen the presentation, particularly the Zoom presentation, they understand the timing and placement. That means they don't need to understand that it's two teams and here's it works, one left, one right. They don't need to understand that. I didn't understand that when I first came across network marketing. They just need to understand that every time someone joins and they could have joined, that it's costing them money. That little spot that they could have had when they saw the presentation a month ago, and it's now worth more than what it is today. So one thing that I do sometimes as well, particularly in a blitz mode, is when I call them every single time I'm about to put someone new in the system. Now this one's very, very key. In terms of closing people, write this down. FOMO, F-O-M-O, FOMO, the fear of missing out, drives people more rather than what they have to gain. If people feel like they have something to miss out on, believe you me, I've had people that didn't have the money magically find the money just like that when they realized they could have had a couple of strong people in their team. So let's say I've shown my good friend Miguel, and Miguel goes to me, hey, look, I really want to do this. I'm excited about it. Need a couple of days to get the money together. And then 3 days later, I haven't heard from Miguel. Instead of calling Miguel and saying, hey, listen, have you got the money? Okay, that can come across as pushy and it can come across as needy. Here's a different way. Miguel, you know I told you I'm on a mission to get my time back, right? Well, since you and me have met, I've been showing people back to back. And in fact, right now, I got a couple of application forms of 2 people I'm about to enroll. Okay, one lady's a nurse, she's hungry to change her life, and another friend of mine, you know, she's a secretary, she's tired of having someone else dictate what she deserves to get paid. Now, Miguel, I don't know whether they're going to become superstars. I don't have a crystal ball. Here's what I know. You saw this first. If you can get the money to lock your position in the next half an hour, I'm going to put these people in your team. Okay, now I'm not putting them in his team as his personals, but I'm putting them in his team as spillover. That means underneath him, which means, as you guys know, spillover counts for bronze, silver, okay, for gold, but it also counts for cycles for unlimited amount of time. Okay, I've got some people that managed to see the presentation, and Helen, I'm, leveraging you here, okay? I got some people that managed to see the presentation, they locked their positioning. Some of them haven't done much, but they refuse to let go of their position. You know why? Because a couple of months later, a lady called Helen Mandishono, who happens to be a blue diamond, joined, and all of a sudden, they have all this crazy spillover under them, and they realize that's a legacy position. Okay? You don't know when the next Helen's going to come in. Right? Or the next Marvelous. My goodness, Marvelous, I'm saving your story for another day, my dear Marvelous. Just remember that name, guys. This lady, called Marvelous, I'm telling you, her name is not by accident. There's some big things happening in the background with this amazing lady. She inspires me. But the thing is that when I'm calling them and I've got people to join, I'm telling them that this is working with or without you, okay? And I'm telling them I'm winning and making money, but without saying those words. I'm not calling them and going, hey man, I made $600. You can say that once, but if you're calling people all the time and go, last week I made $600, last month I made $2,000, and you're saying that every time, you just sound like someone that's just money crazy. That's why for me, I don't always focus on the money, I focus on the stories. Okay? The more stories you tell people of people changing their life and what they have achieved, the more you're building in their mind that this is working. And you know what else you're building in their mind? If they can do it, you can do it. And this is another thing that holds people back, guys. One of the biggest things that holds people back from joining is the fear of whether they can do it or not. A lot of people have this fear. It's easier to avoid the fear rather than face the fear. Okay, so if there's that doubt in their mind that is like, can I do this? Will this work for me? Can I make the money? What if I fail? What if I get rejection? When all these things is going through your mind, it's easier to go, let me think about it, as opposed to let me jump in and face those fears. That's why one of the things that I want to highlight to you as well as another way of following up with people. So number one way of following up with people is book a meeting from a meeting, okay? So when you basically have the next step, you lock that in the diary. The other thing is as well, having something fresh to follow up with people, whether that means new people you're going to enroll in the system, whether it's a new announcement that the company made, or a new story that's been created. Now, what I do when I show people presentation is after 30 to 60 days, I put a note in my calendar to follow up with them. I don't rely on my memory, guys. Treat this like a business or pay you like one. You show someone, they're not ready to join, you follow up with them, put a calendar reminder in your diary, put an alarm, make sure you don't forget it. In fact, if you've got an iPhone, I don't know if Samsung does this or not, but that's why I like iPhones. Slight plug over there, okay? But when you go into your contacts in iPhone, there's also a section called Notes. I take notes on my conversation with people, okay? Like if someone told me, hey, my favorite destination is Italy, right? Or my favorite destination is Portugal. I want to change, I want to change my life because of X, Y, Z. I put it in the notes. So when I have a conversation with them and I tell them, hey, man, you remember how you told me you always wanted to go to Portugal? Guess what? We're going to Portugal next month. We've got a trip and a training coming up. And do you remember when you told me that you want to make some money to take your husband or your wife on a holiday? Why don't you come with us to Portugal? Join us, okay? We've got an escape happening beforehand. Come to the training and bring your wife and let's help you to make some money and get your life back. Listening to people makes them feel that you understand them and you care. And that's really important. There was another point I was making with that. I went on a different train of thought then. So there was one more thing. Hang on a second. I got to get my train of thought. Wow, amazing. See?
It was about diarizing in your phone so that you can get reminded with an alarm.
Yeah, so you put that in your phone, and I put a reminder 30 to 60 days from every time I have a conversation with them. Okay, I put a reminder in 30 days to follow up, or 60 days to follow up. Okay, so that way I don't rely on the memory, I go straight back into my phone. The other thing in terms of following up as well, okay, you can follow up through social media. Okay, so even if, let's say, if you're active on social media, if you're not active on social media, I'm probably not the best person to tell you to get active on social media, because I haven't been that active for a few years on social media. It's one of my shoots, that's why it hasn't happened. Okay, but if you are active on social media, it's a great way to follow up with people, guys, because when you show people the presentation and they haven't joined, every trip that I would go on, and I used to do this when I was very active in social media, every trip that I would go on, I would have a list of some of the freshest people that I had shown the presentation to. And let's say I'm in Portugal or I'm in Greece or whatever amazing destination, I might send them a couple of pictures on Messenger and go, hey, here in Greece, thinking of you, wish you were here with us. Now, I'm doing this because A, I'm getting into their inbox, but the other thing that I'm doing, from the moment you get into someone's inbox, now your stories are gonna show up on their newsfeed. And that's the second reason that I'm doing it. So I get into their inbox, the algorithm of social media, of Facebook, sees that there is interaction between these people, which means that they're interested in their content. So all of a sudden, whatever stories I'm posting, it's showing up on their newsfeed. And what am I doing? I'm staying top of mind. Out of sight, out of mind. And vice versa. When you're staying top of mind and all of a sudden they see you traveling to Portugal, next you're traveling to Johannesburg, next, who knows where we're going to go next. And they see you going to all these amazing destinations. And that's why I keep telling people, when you're in a travel and lifestyle network marketing company, travel can make you money if you do it the right way. Because people watch your stories so many times traveling to all these destinations, sooner or later, either beat them or join them. It's easy to join them. Okay, so that's another way to follow up through social media. So hopefully that all makes sense. Hopefully you guys got value from that. If I'm going to give you guys a couple of minutes, because I know that we got the presentation with Harriet in a minute, but if you guys got any questions on following up whatsoever, you can put them on the chat, and I have a time to answer just a couple of questions before we wrap things up. Okay. So let me know if you got some burning questions on following up. And if you don't worry, we'll go to the presentation shortly. You're welcome, Amanda. Cool. So I'm assuming by people saying thank you, it means we covered everything. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Remember, the presentation starts in 9 minutes. So take the time, do some last minute invitations. This has been recorded. I will post the recording either tonight or tomorrow morning. But also let your team know about the All Ambassador call on Tuesday night. And let's make March an even bigger month than the month of February. Take care, guys. See you soon.